What's up folks, Sokkehoved here, your friendly YouTuber. So today we're going to open 8 boosters. And remember, every booster only contains 6 cards each. Probably since it's an online game, or a free online game, wherein you don't pay for it, wherein you normally get, 12 or 15 cards, I think it is. Something like that. Confirm purchase. Let's open each and every booster individually. So what do we get? We get Scrapkin Drake, which got flying and can only block creatures with flying. Acrobat Sergeant with Sergeant, which got first strike with known. Titan Growth, +4/+4. Ooh, more to the enchantment deck. The knight who gets +1/+1 and lifelink whenever you just control an enchantment. Valerian Wardens, human renowned to whenever creature controls become renowned, draw a card. Oh, that's nice. And then the -4/-4 to everyone. Let's go for the next booster. The -4/-4 turn one, that's more into control decks, I would say, or other black decks that don't want the specific destroy creature, or basically just try and see if they can get mass removal, because not every creature is more than 4. Now it's making the stuff again wherein I cannot zoom in. So that's probably going to be with every second boost, unfortunately. So that one is Flying Renown 1/1/1/3, I can see. Counter target spell unless its controller pay 3 colorless. And then if there are... Oh yeah, if there's 2 more instant/sorcery in your graveyard, you can get Scry 2. Scry 2, when you look at the top 2 cards in this case, decide which one goes on top, which one goes on bottom. And if both of them you want them to be on top, they come on top of the library the way you draw them. So there's an owl which got prowess. Okay. So flying at 3/3, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And then the enchantment, which allows you to mill your opponent's deck and draw a card by paying, I think it's 5 colors and then that blue. A starfish, which got Scry 1. It's kind of okay. You can kind of manipulate what you're going to draw. And then a 1/2/3 prowess. When he enters the battlefield, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card. Okay, so it's basically just put it down, you look at the top card, you can play it if you want to. Let's see. Ooh, more for the elf deck. So, target play. I still cannot. No! Well, what's going to happen, guys? Sorry. I'll try and read and try to do it as best as possible. So, target player sacrificing attacking or blocking creature. A 2/1 wherein when it enters the play you mill the top 2 cards. Milling means that you take the top cards from either your library or your opponent's library and put it into the owner's graveyard. So this one is going to be your own library. Then there is the 2/2 elf, which gives +2/+2 until end of turn, so that's going into my elf deck. And then the meteorite enters battlefield, deal 2 damage to creature or player, and then you can tap it for mana whichever color you want it to be. And then the human monk again, and then a molten vortex. Yeah, that's the one wherein you pay a red, discard a land, deal 2 damage to a creature or player. And it's enchantment, by the way. Let's see. Celestial Flare again. Scrambling Ghoul enters the battlefield tapped. You've probably played with that one if you played through the Liliana storyline. Titan Growth again, and white-red creature. Double strike. It's 2/2 double strike. That's actually kind of okay. Conclave, that's Dryad. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantments for so it's kind of okay. Ooh, elf warrior. More from a warrior deck. Nah. So, it's an elf warrior, 4/3, just like the other, and it's actually not legendary, it's just a normal one. Got minions, and when it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target non-elf creatures whose power and toughness are equal. Okay, so that's actually pretty nice. That's definitely going into the elf decks. Basically just a destroyer or a creature removal. Most of the time, as long as their toughness and power is equal. And then it's an elf. That's nice. Let's see. So the 1/3 flying renown, death touch renown 1. So it's a 2/3, so it can become a 3/4 for 4 with death touch. Basically just means that if you attack with this creature, he blocks with a 100/100 creature. As long as your creature just deals damage to it, doesn't matter if it's 1 damage or if it's 1,000 damage, it dies, no matter what. So Alchemist Vial, when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Then you can pay 1, taps, sacrifice it to decide which creature cannot attack or block this turn. Oh, Vigilance Renown 2, a white-green. It's a human knight. That's nice. And this is a 2/3. And this one, which I got beaten off at some point, or which actually kind of took my creature, because when it enters play, you can take an opponent's creature which power is 2 or less, take it over to your side, gets haste, gets untapped, and you can just swing with it. So you're kind of gaining control of a creature for a turn. And then there is a beast. Basically, it is a beast. Woodland Belower? I can't read the name probably. Cost 6, it's a 6/5, and when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a non-legendary green creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less. Put it into the battlefield and then shuffle the library. So it's basically a 2 card for 1. And it's a huge card, so that's nice, I would say. I'm not going to put it into my elf deck, but it's nice. So, Bone Ash, counter creature spell, cost 4, but then you also get to draw a card. Gearcrafter, which puts in the 1/1 artifact flying. It's a 2/1. Then there's Just Huge Defender 0/6, and then there's the Sigil of Valor. Oh, I actually thought that one was rare. So it's an equipment. Whenever equipped to a creature and it attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn, equal to the amount of creatures you have. Wow, that's going into my elf deck. I don't care. So all the elf tokens just equip over to and useless. An elf token that doesn't do anything, just attack with it. Gets plenty of pluses. Oh, what about this one? It's 3 colors, blue-black. It's a zombie 3/2. Oh, it's one of those scabs again. When it enters the battlefield, return type instant sorcery or creature card from your graveyard to hand. If would die, exile. Okay, so it's basically a card. Most of the scabs, as far as I've seen, when it enters the battlefield, you mill your own deck. This one actually makes you take a card from your graveyard. Not any card, but instant sorcery creature up to your hand. If it dies, then it gets exiled, so you cannot just let it die and then grab it up from your graveyard in some sort of way. And then there's the Priest of the Bloodright. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you gain a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. In the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life. So it's basically I would say it's a card that you play down, gain the 5/5, and then if you have a way wherein you can return it to your hand, so that you don't get the 2 damage, but then you can play it again, gain another 5/5 token. So it's not that the token disappears when it returns or it dies or something like that. This Priest of the Bloodright. So it basically just stays in play. So that's also 2 for 1 card, I would say. Let's see for the next to the last. Ooh, Elvish Visionary. So a sorcery that gives +2/+1 until the end of turn, and then spell mastery. If you have 2 more creatures, so if you have 2 more creatures, no, sorry, instant or sorcery. Spell mastery is always instant sorcery. Have to remember that. So if you got that in your graveyard, the creature also gains vigilance. Vigilance doesn't tap when it attacks. Might of the Masses. Okay, so this one is like with the other green pump spell that I got in my deck. This one just gives +1/+1 for each creature you control instead of for each forest, which is the other one that I'm using. Elvish Visionary, draw a card, 1/1. So we got a haste, and when it enters the battlefield, you may have a deal damage to target creature equal to the number of artifacts you control. Okay. So it's kind of like a burn spell and a creature, but it depends on how many artifacts you control. And it's 2/3 by itself, so that's kind of okay, but it costs 4. Then we have one of, I wouldn't say the most annoying card, but definitely close to the top, because it's a blue card with 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you put 2 1/1 artifact of these Oni chapters, I think it is. But 2 1/1 artifact flying creatures into the battlefield, then you can tap 2 untapped artifacts. Just artifacts, doesn't have to be creatures, but 2 untapped artifacts to give another creature. It cannot be blocked this turn. So it's basically if you're having a huge creature who normally gets blocked, who doesn't have trample, like the big green creatures that I have in my deck, you tap 2 artifacts, which comes into play with that one, to give that big creature unblockable, and then just attack, swing with it, or with the shield as well. So put that one into play. The other creature have the shield, and then you give it unblockable, attack with it, and it just pumps, and it cannot be blocked. And then there's this Stop Their Spy Network blue enchantment, which at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, you gain a not a +1. Start over that one. Put a 1/1 colors chapter artifact creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Whenever one or more artifacts creatures you control deal damage to a player, draw a card. So that's 2 things. You need an artifact in play, and then you gain a 1/1 artifact flying creature. If what did it say? 1 or more, as long as one of your artifacts deal damage to a player, and it needs to be a creature as well. As long as that one deals damage to a player, you actually get to draw a card. That's nice. Let's see. What do we gain for the last one? Ooh. So, Aspiring Aeronaut is flying, and when it gets into play, you get that 1/1 flying chapter, 2/2 prowess, +1, and he attacks each turn. Basically just an artifact that gives +1/+1 equipment that you have to equip. And then you have the Foundry, which give colors. You can sacrifice it for 5 colors mana as well. Foundry of puts. Okay, so you pay 5 colors, sacrifice this land, and you put 2 1/1 of these artifact creatures into play. Then we got a white-blue. Oh, now I can zoom in. Yes! So, flash flying, other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. Nice. So the flash, you can cast it at any time, just like with an instant. And we got Liliana. 2/3 lifelink whenever another non-creature token. Whenever another non-creature you control dies. Non-token creature, sorry. I cannot read it probably right now. So, as long as one of your creatures die and it's not a token, you exile Liliana, you put her onto the battlefield again, but as the Planewalker, and wherein it's a 2/2 black zombie creature. And you do also put a 2/2 black zombie creature into play. So, I'm sorry there, I just made a cut here because I got an important phone call in the middle of everything. I didn't actually think that I would get that. So, what we are going to do now is we're just going to go and look. Oh, I can actually filter it. If I was smart, I would filter it. New cards. Thank you. There, it's more into one to look at Liliana. So once you get exiled, you get this Planewalker instead that acts as an ally, and this Planewalker have 3 loyalty counter on it. Basically that's its life. So for +2, you both players discard a card, or if you're playing a 2-head giant, all 4 player discards a card. Then this one, 3, goes up to 5. So -X, return target non-legendary creature card from creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's actually pretty nice. So you can basically just rack up this, and then at some point just discard a lot of loyalty counter, put a big creature up into play again, or just a small creature if you need it. But with -8, the big minus abilities are usually pretty, I wouldn't say sick, some of them feel like that, but they're pretty wild. So with this one, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, return to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. So with this one, the -8, you basically just get an emblem that stays in play. Emblems cannot be removed in any way. That's the sick part about emblems. So it basically just means whenever a creature dies, if you use them to block or it just kills off enemy creatures, then you'll just gain those creatures. So just gaining creatures all the time. Tokens, though, they just gets removed from play. They never hit the graveyard actually, or they never go into the graveyard. They just get removed. So you cannot gain those, but other creatures you gain. That is pretty wild, I would say. So yeah, that actually wraps up this time with the 8 new boosters. I hope you enjoyed. I don't hope I talked too much. If you want me to more just speak about the uncommon or only rare card, the rare card or / legendary, if I only were going to talk about those, it would get pretty fast. And there's actually some of the uncommons and a tiny bit of the commons, which are actually pretty nice. So that's why I'm talking about every single of the card. But also, so if ever you have a deck and idea or a theme or something like that, then just please comment down below and I will have a look at it, see if I can get something together. If I have enough cards, or else I might actually note it down and then I will have a look at it at some point whenever I get enough cards for it. So you can see me mess around with other decks, see how much I fail with creating decks and everything. But I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely did. But take care, have fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Let's Play Magic Duels, wherein I open 8 new boosters. I wouldn't say it's the most sick pulls, but I would say it's some really nice pulls. I could use some of the cards, and basically just getting the Planewalkers, that's really nice. It's a step in the right direction if you want to use them in your deck, so I'm just happy about that. But comment down below what you liked, what you didn't like, or hit my face, or hit that subscribe button to follow me. It really helps, and it just makes it easier for you to follow what I'm going to do for the future, to see what I'm putting up and everything. But until next time, take care.